A new study by the United Nations shows an economic fallout that could push 500 million more people into potential famine conditions.
Before COVID hit the scene just a few months ago, I'd already been warning leaders around the world, and especially in Europe, that Africa was in a lot of trouble and that we could have 2020 be the worst humanitarian crisis since World War II before COVID.
David Beasley runs the United Nations World Food Program. His agency says 55 countries at risk right now of severe famine, sub-Saharan Africa potentially being the hardest hit. The program predicted that if current projections remain, the region will be home to half the world's poor. What countries are most at risk right now?
In Africa, for example, South Sudan will be, Burkina Faso, Sudan, Somalia, Ethiopia, DRC, just to name a few right off the top.
In war-torn Somalia, WFP has deployed plane loads of protective equipment and medical supplies for distribution throughout the country and surrounding region. Food rations are also being delivered on three-wheelers to residents of the capital city, Mogadishu.
The food that we used to go to get from the shops is now being delivered to our homes. I'm so happy for this. It has changed many things in my life.
Further east, in Nigeria, where 90% of the revenues come from oil, the country's poor, struggling to get food on the table.
People must eat. I strongly believe that hungry is much more dangerous than even the coronavirus. So we must do our best to ensure that people get food to eat.
CBN's Nigeria office preparing to respond, distributing face masks, setting up hand-washing stations, and working with the U.S. Embassy there to create a small chlorine manufacturing plant. Several Nigerian churches are also involved in food distributions.
We've been in total lockdown for about 5 weeks, even though the lockdown has been relaxed somewhat, but then a lot of people's businesses have gone down, and so that is creating a lot of problems, and churches are stepping in to bridge the gap.
Political instability and wars in places like Afghanistan, Syria, Haiti, and Venezuela are also pushing people who were already hanging by a thread over the edge. In battle-scarred Yemen, for example, health workers sounding the alarm as vulnerable children face increased need.
We estimate that an additional 4 million children are going to slide into poverty as a result of COVID-19.
Beasley says lockdowns and sliding economies are making things even harder for the most vulnerable. He warns more people could lose their lives from the economic fallout than from the virus itself.
So if we don't have food, the monies we need, supply chain access, we literally could have famine in dozens of countries around the world. This is not a Chicken Little, the sky is falling. This is the reality that we're facing as we speak.
With hundreds of millions across the world already relying heavily on food aid, Beasley says it's critical that countries act now. His group, along with Samaritan's Purse, World Vision, Operation Blessing, and other Christian aid agencies, are deploying vital resources to prevent a potential humanitarian catastrophe.
If you look at the statistics, you find that the number of people infected with the coronavirus is increasing by the day here. So it's very critical to make sure that that can help mitigate the spread of the virus.
George Thomas, CBN News.